I recently did a funny TikTok video involving this tire and wheel. One of my followers noticed the massive hole and suggested that I try to fix it using ramen noodles. I thought it was hilarious. So I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and get some other products. Let's see if we can actually fix this wheel to the point where I could drive on it and it'll hold air. So we're gonna try some experimenting here and let's see what we can come up with. According to the internet, you can use ramen noodles and super glue to fix just about anything. The question is, what's the best recipe? Some people crush this up using super glue. Other people turn it into a powder and use glue. We're gonna find out today what's the best recipe, and whatever is the strongest, we're gonna use on our wheel. Okay, now that we have our crunchy ramen and our powder ramen, we're gonna use super glue and spray glue, a combination of all to figure out what's the strongest solution. So we're gonna try powder with super glue, powder with super glue, powder with spray glue, crunchy with super glue, crunchy with spray glue. So let's try all four and figure out what's the best. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the tape, we're gonna put it underneath here, we're gonna fill it in with the different combinations, we're gonna let everything set up, and let's see what holds up the best. This is what we've done. We have powder with super glue, we have powder with spray glue, crunchy with super glue, crunchy with spray glue. It says it takes about 3 hours to fully cure, so we're gonna go ahead and let it sit overnight. We'll come back, check it in the morning, we'll do a full test and see how it does. Okay, we've removed the tape, and I'll tell you, the spray glue on the powder side did not penetrate very well because it is wanting to just come apart. You can see it's just crumbling off already. Not a good sign for that one, but let's go ahead and do the test. First test we're gonna do is the screwdriver drop. I'm gonna hover it over each one about the same height. We'll drop it and see how they do. Oh, look at the powder ones. They're both starting to kind of crumble underneath. Oh, I will tell you, that one had a major divot. I don't think this one's gonna hold up very long. Wow, okay, there was powder that fell under that one, but I'll tell you, that was a very solid hit. Let's move on to the next one. So we're obviously using this in a tire that's gonna be filled with air, and there's gonna be a lot of pressure, and it has to hold that pressure in the wheel. So I want to use air pressure. This air gun is connected to my shop air. I have about 140 PSI of pressure. Obviously in a wheel or in a tire, it's a little bit different, but I'm gonna shoot the back side of this with air and let's see what happens. Okay, spray glue on the crunchy. We're gonna blow the back side of it. Surprisingly, did pretty good. Super glue on the crunchy. Okay, spray glue powder. It's starting to lift up there. And super glue powder. Okay, let's move on to the next test. We have a ball peen hammer. This is pretty heavy. I joke around, this is my air hammer. So I'm going to hold it from the same spot and just let it come down onto each one. So we'll start with the spray glue crunchy. Oh, right through it. Did not hold up at all. Super glue crunchy. Wow, very surprising. Okay. Spray glue powder. I'm not feeling very confident on this one. Not even close. Okay, so far, spray glue we can tell is not the way. So now the contest really comes down to, is it going to be the powder or the crunchy with the super glue? Wow, that was very, very strong. Let's go ahead and peel these out. I think these contenders are finished. Okay, we're down to 2. This time what I'm going to do is give it just a much harder smack with the ball peen hammer. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, I'm actually shocked how well that holds up. All right, let's do it from the other side. There's still a little bit of tape here. I couldn't get all the tape off. Some of the super glue bled through. Wow, okay. Incredible. Oh, I can see right now. I think we have a winner. The super glue with the crunchy has a hole through it, and the super glue powder is still completely solid. So I believe this is our winner, but I just want to see how hard I can get this, how hard I can hit this with a hammer to see if it'll break. Okay, a little bit more force from my air hammer. Okay, that did the trick. You saw it was a pretty solid hit. There's definitely a hole here. So when we repair the wheel, I think what I'm going to do is apply glue on both sides, and we'll see how that holds up. So I noticed it was getting really warm. Oh yeah, it's warm. I want to see how warm. So I got a temp gauge just to give you a point of reference. 79 degrees in here on this table. Oh my gosh, 137 degrees. All right, it's the next day and we have let it completely cure. It is pretty solid. I'm going to give you my prediction. I think it's going to hold no more than 20 psi of pressure once I get the tire mounted. So I guess let's go figure it out. But let me show you the back side. So you can see it's all the way through. Pretty solid. I gotta say I'm a little surprised. I don't know if it's porous or not, so we may get some leakage. I guess we'll go find out. All right, let's shoot for 10 psi first and see if that holds. We gotta get the bead to pop up, so hopefully that'll happen. Oh, there we go. The tire inflated enough to get on the bead of the rim, which means the tire is completely seated to the rim, but we're still losing pressure. I've got, as much as I've got, I think was about 12 psi before it would leak out. The ramen is just so porous, it is just coming right through it. So I'm just trying to think of a way that we can maybe force more air in there just to get more of a reaction. Oh yeah. Okay, so the problem I was having, I was putting air into the tire. Anything that got above 10 psi, I think 12 was the most we saw, air was just coming through the ramen noodles, just very porous. So now we need to keep the air from coming through the ramen noodles. So we're going to use flex tape. We're going to put it on the outside and see if that's going to hold it. One thing we need to do before we put the tape on is try to clean up the edges because we want the flex tape to seal to the wheel, not to the ramen. So we want to make sure we have a clean surface around the outside. So we're going to scrape off the edges, make it nice and clean, put the tape on it, and let's see what happens. I feel like I should just slap this thing on like they do in the commercial. Wham! Okay. Okay, that's gotta work, right? All right, let's flip it over, put some air in it, see how that works. Okay, That failed miserably. So phase 3, now I'm going to take the tire off the rim. Let's put the Flex Seal on the inside and see how that helps. We're going to put another sheet on the inside of the wheel. We'll mount the tire up. This way it'll keep the tire pressure from leaking through here. I think that'll seal it up. We'll see. PSI. 30 PSI, it's starting to leak. $40 PSI. 55 PSI. We're at just over 60 PSI. It's bubbling up pretty badly, and I hear a little hissing. But man, for 60 PSI, it's holding up pretty good. Okay, so it is holding much better. I got all the way up to 60 PSI of pressure, however it's leaking. So the plan is to make sure this tire holds air. It is not holding air if it's leaking. So we're gonna move on to phase 4, I think we are now. Update, the ramen noodles and the flex tape combined did not work. However, we did learn a few things. And one is if the flex tape is on this side of the wheel, as the air pressure is introduced to the tire and the wheel, it starts to bubble out. So it really doesn't do a very good job here. However, it does an excellent job when it's on the inside of the drum. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start from fresh, take everything off. I'm gonna put flex tape on the inside of the wheel, and then we're gonna fill the hole with JB Weld. If you don't know what JB Weld is, it's a 2-part epoxy and it hardens like steel. This is an aluminum wheel. The question is it going to seal to the aluminum wheel? And will it seal it enough that it'll keep the air pressure inside? That's what we're gonna find out. Okay, so we gotta clean all this out anyways, but just my curiosity, I wanna know how much force I'm actually gonna need to put a hole through the ramen noodles. So I'm gonna use the ball peen side of the hammer. Now this is a dead blow hammer. This is a pretty serious hammer. So let's give it a smack and see what happens. I actually expected that thing to shatter. So wow, okay, let's do it again. There we go. Now we got a hole. I don't know how I'm gonna get all this cleaned off, to be honest with you. I think we're just gonna have to grind. We're gonna have to get the grinder, do some grinding. Yeah. So I didn't think I'd have to break out the chisel and hammer, but literally I gotta use a chisel and hammer to take off this ramen. It is so stuck on there. I am actually shocked at how sticky and how hard this stuff is. I tried using a wire wheel and it wasn't really touching it. So chisel and hammer. I have a little bit more work to do, but you know what? We're getting there. We'll get it all cleaned up here in a few minutes, hopefully. I say few minutes, I mean like 30. Okay, we got the wheel prepped and cleaned. Took way more time than I expected. That's okay. That's why you see all the scuff marks. I had to use a pretty aggressive tool. We're gonna put the flex tape on this side of the wheel. We're gonna flip it over. We're gonna mix up our JB Weld and get that all prepped. JB Weld's gonna take about 24 hours to completely cure 100%. And we're putting it on pretty thick, so we wanna make sure that it's completely cured. So tomorrow, we'll come back and see how it does. All right, I've got both parts of epoxy on the plate. Now we're gonna mix them together. They have to be mixed very well, and I have very little bit of time to get it actually applied. So I'm gonna use this piece of steel that I have, mix it all up, and we're gonna fill it in and see how it goes. Okay, we've got all the JB Weld applied. We've got the flex tape on the back side of the wheel. We're gonna let it cure for at least 24 hours. We're gonna come back, put the tire on it, and let's see if it'll work, because this is basically our last attempt. I don't know what else will fix this wheel if this doesn't work. Final attempt. Let's see what we've got. Oh man, do you guys hear those cracks? That is scary. But it's holding at 60 PSI. I think I might hear a leak. And I keep hearing these cracking sounds. Oh, right there. Oh no! No! Oh no! I just heard a major crack and it is hissing really bad. Let's spray some. Oh yeah, right there. Oh my gosh, I feel like that is just going to explode at any minute. Jesus Christ. Holy. Wow. That was like a bomb going off. Holy, my heart is racing right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, not a good idea. All right, in conclusion, the ramen noodles were way too porous. The flex tape just couldn't hold the pressure, and when it came to the JB Weld, it actually held for a very brief time until it started cracking, giving away, and then finally exploding and almost killing me. Maybe not killing me, but I felt in fear of my life for a brief second. Do not try this at home. Guys, let me know in the comments, did you think that any of these were gonna hold up? And if so, which ones? I personally thought the JB Weld was gonna hold up. I did not expect it to just explode like it did. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thank you so much. Please consider subscribing, like the video. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.